okay, the cast is essentially a bunch of middle-aged women. They make such a big deal out of how fabulous the wardrobe choices were and how often the characters are going to change clothes. They've got these big like song and dance numbers in it, and I just think, is this somehow designed to appeal to like middle-aged women who also have kind of an interest in superhero movies? Because I've got to be honest, like that ain't a big market right there, but that seems to be what it's for.
That's the trick. You think that if you think logically, that's who it looks like it's pointing towards, but you know that middle-aged women aren't interested in Marvel. They're not interested in this. They're not subscribed to Disney Plus. So you have to take that logic and go, oh, this is written for Jack Schaefer. If that's all it's written for, it's written by the showrunner for her. There is the scene where they're sat down in the house after Aubrey Plaza brings the pizza, because every fucking thing written by a woman's got to have a scene where they're sat down eating food, talking about their fucking bullshit.
What is that? Yeah, like why is there always eating?
Bro, okay, you guys haven't seen episode 2. There's a scene where they talk about eating candles and how nice the candles taste, and how everyone should like the scent and the smell and taste of candles. Yeah, when that scene was playing, my brain left my body and I started watching Iron Man. Just
retreat to my happy place.
The conversation when they're eating the pizza is about using the wrong foundation brush. This is Jack Schaefer writing for Jack Schaefer. That's it. She's her own fucking audience.
It's a little bit. What was the number of? I remember it was when the Marvels came out that there was a breakdown for the demographics that had gone to see it on opening weekend. Wasn't it like 70% of them were men that had gone?
I don't think it was as much as 70, but it was definitely still the majority.
And it's 55% menish.
Yeah, I think, and the thing is, that's always going to be your demographic ultimately. Like, it doesn't matter what brand of Marvel product you produce. Like, you can make it as feminized as you want. But it's still Marvel, it's still superheroes, it's still comic book stuff. It's going to be predominantly men who go to see it. It doesn't matter what you do. Well, and it's like they're doing everything they can to like alienate that audience. Like, not many guys are going to find this appealing.
No, this isn't made for men. It's not made for people like superheroes. It's not made for people that like Marvel. It's not made for those. It's clearly not. There aren't any elements within this show that are attached to that. This is just made for Jack fucking Schaefer.
I guess the problem is it gets really awkward when, because it's like, oh, well, is there a problem with that? It's like, well, when you spend so much money and you need to make that money back, it's a problem for you guys. That's what
that is exactly the problem. Like, if this had been some low budget thing that had done, for maybe like 30, 40, 50 million dollars, like, okay, fine. I'm willing to bet this is well north of 150 million to make this
probably
show.
at least over 100 million dollars, because all of these projects cost so much money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem right there. It's like, okay, you can definitely make these like smaller shows for a more niche audience for sure, but the budget has to reflect that. And if you're still pumping insane amounts of money into it and expecting like the appropriate audience to come and see it, they won't. Not when it's like this. They're not going to be interested.
You guys saw it too. Remember, according to Aubrey Plaza, this is the gayest Marvel project to date. During the show, going to be a gay explosion.
Funny you should mention that. Let me see if I can bring up the interview.
Oh boy.
Chemistry between you and Catherine in the first episode, I describe it as...
Just before we go on, can we get this guy like a throat lozenge or something? Like, can we club together and just help this man?
He's drunker than me.
Like, he doesn't even sound drunk. It's just like his voice sounds like this. That's like fucking Smeagol. It's like, I expect him to start talking about stupid hobbitses. Anyway.
Law and Order meets Basic Instinct meets Bound.
Go on. You're speaking my language. All of that. Yes. More. Yeah, 100%.
I love how she keeps rolling her eyes like, oh, get this fucking retard away from me. I honestly feel like she's like, I have to play along with this fucking stupid line of questioning, but okay, fine, let's go on with it.
100%.
Get gayer and gayer as each episode goes.
Yes, darling, but I can't tell you how. I can't tell you anything, but yes, it will be a gay explosion by the end of it.
Yeah, so we're gonna get our gay explosion at the end.
Has she got a cane? Is she?
Yeah, it looks
cane
like
there?
it. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's kind of it. Oh, all right. Like, I guess that's an accessory.
You know what? It's weird though, because it's like, when did this become suddenly the benchmark for whether a show is good or not? Like, how gay is it? Like, because I think if I was a showbiz correspondent, it's like, okay, I've got Aubrey Plaza at my disposal. I can do what I want with her. Right, I'm going to ask her anything. Like, I would have so many questions about like the writing, the characters, the
history between you and Catherine in the first episode.
Stop! Go away!
Go away now.
I'd have so many questions about all those aspects of the story, the production, even. Like, apparently they used a lot of practical effects. Like, ask her questions like that. No, how gay is it?
Why? This is a rhetorical question, right? Because we all know the answer. They're all obsessed with it. And by the way, that guy is gay. Surprise, surprise. So of course it's the same question. He asked the same question to all of them. I'm here. This is the gayest marble show there has ever been. Agreed. And he goes agreed at the end. Notice that. He says agreed at the end to get them to say yes.
Because it's just so reductive, because it's like it almost invalidates all the work that's gone into every other aspect of the show. To just bring it all down to like, well, how gay is it? Like,
Mola had a great response to this in the real BBC. Mola said you should ask him, what do you think's the straightest?
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I mean,
how straight is this show?
A pretty interesting conversation. But the thing is, I wouldn't even be looking to trap the actors, which is what I think Az just highlighted. He's kind of doing. He's trying to make sure they have to answer the question, and they're all. We know how they work. They're all very much like, I don't want to rock the boat here. So yeah, it's really gay. Is that right? Did I say it right? Okay, good. And then just leave. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I used to be a part of red carpets where I'd answer questions about the movie in terms of its artistry, not whether it's gay. But I guess that's where we're at right now. So I'll just nod my head and be like, yes, gay, I guess.
I'm sure. Like, I don't know if like,
a little
this
bit
is.
by.
Well, yeah. I don't know if it's like, he's been given the talking points from Marvel. So it's like, these are the questions we want you to ask because this is the aspect of the show that we really want to push, or if it's just this guy doing it off his own back, or what. I'm not sure how it works. But either way, like, it's not a effective strategy, because to market it on that and say like, well, we've got no idea about like the quality of the writing, the characters, the story, anything like that, but we know it's super gay. Like, okay, well, how many people watching that interview are going to think, wow, sign me up. Like, I can't wait to watch this. Like, no, the normal person is going to be more interested in like, well, what is this about? Like, what's the journey that your character goes on? How much work went into it? What was your experiences behind it? For the small proportion of people who even care about these fucking stupid showbiz interviews, that's what they're going to be looking for. To market it on being gay, you're only really going to appeal to a small proportion of your audience there.
It's a criticism shield. We know it's a criticism shield. So as soon as people start to criticize the show, which, having seen the first episode, it is very, very criticizable. And then they go, "Oh right, okay, you're critical of the show. You are a homophobe." Mm-hmm. So this is the tactics they've been doing all along. Look at the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Look, when the Acolyte was absolute garbage, terribly acted, terribly written, terribly produced, terribly directed, terribly edited. Sets look cheap as fuck. There's so much there. But what was the narrative? Oh, you're a bunch of racists against Amanda Stenberg.
And it gives them the opportunity, I suppose, to have a cheap dig at their critics and say like, well, you're just homophobic or whatever. But like, it's still resulted in the show getting cancelled. So ultimately, it's not a win for the show. And
but it's a deflection. And what has just been announced? Leslie Helen's just got a new gig with a star-studded cast.
Why not?
Fell upwards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But it's like, I don't know. Like, from my perspective, if I was the showrunner or the people like responsible for the marketing for this, rather than preemptively teeing up my excuses for why the show's going to fail and attack my critics, I probably want to give the show the best chance I could to succeed by like focusing on the actual good marketable parts of it, whatever they may be.
Don't give it to Jack Schaefer then. Give it to a competent writer that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Something that I've noticed over the last few years in terms of the way that like almost people anticipate Marvel movies or TV shows is that it feels like so little of it stems from like anticipation of what that story is going to be, but rather like aspects of the meta that are going to be informing it. The big one, obviously, oh, well, what's next? Where is this going next? Like, what team's going to get set up? Are the X-Men going to get set up? Are we going to see this character? Are we going to see this character getting set up? And it feels like another one that exists as well as like a vibe. It's like, what is the vibe that we're going for? And Secret Invasion, it's like, yeah, it's gritty and serious. And the Marvels, oh, it's fun, it's fun, it's fun. It's like it feels like so little of the focus is on like, well, shit, what kind of story we're going to be in for? Like, damn, I'm excited to see the characters go through these trials and tribulations and come out on the other side having learned a lesson, or we're going to go to really interesting places. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like as more and more time's gone on, there's been like less and less general interest in like, what is actually the story going to be? Who are these characters? What kind of journey are they going on? Which is it's really bad because once it starts to go on for long enough, like people kind of don't even know what they're there for anymore. It's like, what actually am I here to watch these shows and movies for? Like, what's the story going to be? Who knows and who cares?
Well, it's like you're perpetually setting up the next thing rather than enjoying the current thing.
Exactly. Yeah. People they're like watching it, but they're waiting until the post-credit scene to find out like what's going to happen next. It's a very weird way to engage with media. But it's something that Marvel's kind of cultivated especially over the last like 5 or 6 years, for sure.
So this is why Marvel TV's here, because it's saying you don't have to do any of that. there isn't going to be that. But then you have to say, then why is there even an Agatha show?
Exactly.
Who wanted an Agatha show? Who called for it? Where's the demand? We haven't seen the fucking Fantastic Four, the X-Men. We haven't seen any of these characters in this universe at all, and yet we've got fucking Ironheart done and dusted nearly 2 years now. We've got fucking Agatha Harkness. You know, we've got Falcon and Winter Soldier shows.
Dude, remember when we first found out they were making Echo, Harkness, and
Echo! Oh my god, Echo!
And like we're now halfway through like the releasing of all of them. Like they were real. They actually decided to do it, and it happened. Like what?
Yeah, there's still more to come, right? Like Ironheart's still coming. That's what
I mean, they say it's coming, but yeah, this is the thing. Like from what guys like Chris Gore were saying, that the senior people at Marvel are very aware of the problems that they've created for themselves. They're very aware that Phase 4 and 5 haven't worked, and what they've tried to push has been an absolute failure, especially the TV shows. And so they are trying to change course, but obviously there's a bunch of projects that were made years ago, Agatha Harkness being a perfect example, that they can't really change at this point. They kind of just have to grit their teeth, get it out, and just like take the pain in the short term and then move on to the better stuff later. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if this is something they just want to get rid of. Like it's okay, we have to release it. Let's just get it out there, get over it, move past it to something better. I honestly am surprised they didn't just release it all at once.
Dump it,
Echo.
yeah.
I guess the problem though is that the meaningful thing in terms of like addressing the problems that existed with Phase 4 and 5, like really the big overarching one is the writing has been really, really bad. It's been really bad. Breaches of character constantly, absolutely insane plots, no desire to build a cohesive world, and thematically, a lot of the time, very confused, bizarre stories. Like that has to get fixed. If you do a Fantastic Four movie, but you've still got the same kind of writing, you're still going to run into the same kinds of problems.